In today's video, I wanted to start my journey through the main storyline featured in Fable 2. Fable 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. It's safe to say that it's my favorite in the series, and after playing through Fable Anniversary for the first time, it's gotten me even more excited to run through this one again. For this narrative, I'll be playing through the game's main story, listening to the dialogue, and detailing my experiences while pushing the story along. Similar to Fable Anniversary, Fable 2 relies heavily on morality, the good versus evil. It's possible to choose one far end of the spectrum, a wholly good or a wholly evil playthrough. It's also possible to just toe the line between the two, choosing one side when it's more beneficial. Plus, in Fable 2, there are even more alignments. Pure versus corrupt, funny versus scary, love versus hate, and wealthy versus poor. Towing the line, finding that middle ground would be a lot simpler. However, I believe in extremes. Not really, but because I chose a good and moral playthrough for Fable Anniversary, I wanted to switch things up for Fable 2 by playing an evil and corrupt character. In my opinion, the evil playthroughs are always a little more fun, but they don't quite fit that hero narrative that Fable tries to present. In any case, without further ado, let's officially dive into the story of Fable 2.
Oh, what was that? Oh, yuck. Well, I hear that's lucky. Like finding a four-leaf clover. Although I think I prefer the clover. Oh, look, little sparrow. Castle Fairfax looks so nice in the snow. Imagine the grand dining hall. I bet Lord Lucien's having roast duck this time of year. But he must be really lonely since his wife and his little girl died. In that big castle, all by himself. If only we could live there. What is going on over there? Come with me, little brother.
As the game begins, the player takes control of Sparrow, the protagonist of this story. I personally chose to play as a young boy. By the look and sound of things, Sparrow and his sister Rose are living in poverty. They're currently residing in Bowerstone, specifically a region called Oldtown. Oldtown is filled with its fair share of shady characters.
Hello there, young Rose. You look hungry. Have you reconsidered my offer?
We'll never be that hungry. The answer is no.
You'll be back, and I'll be waiting for you.
It's no wonder that the two would do almost anything to get off the streets. Well, that's exactly where the story gets its footing. As a crowd gathers around some oddball merchant, several items go up for sale. The first one is a magical mirror, and by the sound of things, Murgo the trader is nothing more than a scammer.
This is truly a magical mirror. For as long as you look into it, it will make you beautiful.
I'll take it.
Very wise. Now, just remember, the magic only works if you look at it in complete darkness.
As the interest in Murgo begins to fade, he calls attention to another relic.
This small, unassuming box is actually a device created by the ancients, as used by the old kingdom rulers themselves. Turn the handle 3 times and you shall be granted a single wish.
There's no such thing as magic.
Calm down. Did he say it?
We live in grim times indeed, if the young are too world-weary to believe in magic. Most children your age believe eagerly.
Look, I can see your eyes are bad, but I'm telling you, that music box is rubbish.
That's what the seller thinks. He has no idea what he stumbled upon. But you have an inkling, don't you? Some part of you wants to believe it's magic.
What? You really think it could be?
For 5 gold coins, you could have your answer.
For 5 gold coins, we could eat for a week.
Listen to me, Rose. At the end of that week, you and your little sparrow would be no closer to your dream, no closer to the inside of that beautiful castle.
What if it is real? I bet we could get 5 gold pieces, and maybe this could be a way out of here after all. What is there to lose, little sparrow? Come on, There must be someone around here who'll pay us gold to do something.
This section of the story acts as an introduction to the game's quests. There are several people around Oldtown who could use Sparrow's help, and they're willing to pay for it. However, like mentioned before, not all deeds are neutral. Some lean toward evil and corrupt acts, while others are seen as more good and moral. The very first one has the player interacting with a guard named Derek. Derek wants myself and Rose to fetch some arrest warrants that have blown away. It's a more passive task, as the documents are scattered across Oldtown. Moving along and keeping that one in the back pocket, the next quest giver is a photographer named Barnum. Barnum claims to have invented the first camera, although that's not quite what he calls it. This is probably the simplest quest, as all I needed to do was strike a pose for the picture.
Be what?
Ah, yes, I've been improving my vocabularium with a wonderful book bought from Murgo the Trader. A thesaurus.
He's a bit silly, isn't he? But this could be fun.
Better to do. Load of crap.
Once the moment's over, Barnum hands Rose and I a gold coin and tells us to check in on the picture in 3 months' time. Regardless, that's 1 coin down and just 4 more to go. Continuing through Oldtown, we stumbled onto quite the saddening sight. Some bully named Rex was hurting a stray dog. Rose went to go confront Rex, but it didn't work out so well.
Having a bit of fun. What's it to you? He hit a girl.
This portion of the story, while brief, serves as a minor introduction to the game's combat. Sparrow pulls out his wooden sword and begins to fight Rex. Although, Rex doesn't really fight back, and after a couple of hits, he ends up running away. Unfortunately, there's no gold for that deed, but at the very least, this stray dog has been saved. Plus, without spoiling too much, it's not the last we see of it. Moving along, I ended up running into a man named Balthazar. Balthazar needed some help with clearing out beetles in his warehouse. He wants me to exterminate them by any means necessary. Although, he has one rule: don't destroy any of his things. Entering the warehouse, it doesn't take long for Arthur, the creep from earlier, to call out to me.
Balthazar owes some protection money to Nicky the Nickname. So how about you leave the beetles and smash his stock up instead? I'll give you a gold on Mr. the Nickname's behalf.
This is the first quest where you get to choose either the good or the bad path. Both lead to the same outcome, 1 gold coin. But it's up to the player on how they want to be seen. Smash the stock or destroy the beetles. While I don't like Arthur, I'm trying to turn Sparrow into a monster, so breaking Balthazar's things is my best option.
Great work, kid. You've got a real talent there, you do. That'll teach Balthazar not to pay Nicky the Nickname. Here, catch.
I'm ruined. My stock is destroyed. You're not children. You're monsters. You're no better than those savage, vile beetles that are still in my warehouse.
The next deed has me speaking with a duo named Pete and Betty. Pete is drunk, and Betty clearly isn't fond of it. Apparently, someone stole Pete's bottle of booze, and he'd like it back. Betty also wants the bottle returned, but she'd rather that I hand it over to her. The thief is named Magpie, and he's located pretty close to the duo. Now, in this section of Oldtown is where all of Derek's arrest warrants can be found. 4 of them are casually lying in the street. As for the 5th, well, it's tied to the current quest, Tramp's Treasure. Magpie can be found sleeping in one of Oldtown's nooks. Beside him is Pete's bottle of booze. Carefully, I snuck beside him, grabbed the liquor, and walked back out, all without waking up Magpie. Now comes the big decision: hand the bottle over to Pete or to Betty. After hearing that the tramp is trying to quit drinking, I knew that handing him the bottle would further my own immoral compass.
Hold it! What you bang this in there for? This must be yours. Ah, I've got it!
You should be ashamed of yourself, getting children to fetch alcohol for you.
Yeah, you have a point. I guess it's a little pathetic.
With all 5 warrants in hand, I can now return to Derek and receive my 4th gold coin. Running on back, my path to the guard gets blocked off by none other than Arthur.
Listen, creep. I told you no this morning.
Shut it, girl. This isn't about that. Those warrants you're collecting, I want them.
So does our friend the guard.
Yeah, but you're going to give them to me, see? Otherwise there'll be trouble.
There'll be trouble, all right. You take these, and I'll tell our friend what you really want.
All right, you little hard case. What's he paying you? A gold piece? I'll give you a gold right here. Save you the walk back.
A gold's a gold, I guess. If you want the money right now, you could give him the
I
warrants.
knew you'd come through for me.
Handing the warrants over to Arthur not only secures Rose and I our 4th gold coin, but it also gives me more evil points. Interestingly, the future of Oldtown gets altered greatly by Sparrow's current actions. This is something we'll come to see later in the game. Now, as for the 5th and final quest, in my opinion, it's the most intriguing.
Shh! I think Mother heard us. You again? I don't want you sniffing around my daughter. Now push off before I call the guards, you animal. Get in the house, Belinda. And clean those floors. They're as filthy as that no-good delinquent Monty.
Chatting with Romeo, aka Monty, he asks myself and Rose to deliver a love letter to Belinda. His only instructions are that Belinda's mother, Deirdre, doesn't get her hands on it. You can probably guess where this one's going. Knocking on the door, Deirdre answers, and Rose tells her that we're delivering some mail. In exchange for the letter, Rose asks for 1 gold coin, for postage of course. At this point, I got to choose whether I wanted to stick around for Deirdre's collection, or to head straight on up for Belinda. Picking the former, Deirdre hands us our final gold piece, coin number 5. However, she ends up taking a look at the letter and doesn't like what she reads.
Marry my daughter? Over my dead body? Where is he? How dare you propose to my daughter? Guards! I want to report a pervert!
It's not what you think. I wrote the letter for you.
What?
Yes, I couldn't hide my feelings any longer.
I knew you'd get the hint when I called you an animal. Now, show me you're an animal.
Oh,
With that, Rose and Sparrow now have the appropriate amount of funds.
Hello, children.
Hello, we've come to buy the music box.
Very wise little ones. Go ahead and turn the handle, but mind you go somewhere quiet like.
Let's go make our wish, little sparrow.
Running back to the Overlook, Sparrow and Rose look up at Castle Fairfax as they begin to use the music box.
I wish. But where did it go? Why are we still here? 5 gold pieces. Let's just go to bed.
It wasn't all for nothing. In fact, from that point onward, the wheels of fate started to turn. Later that night, Sparrow and Rose are woken up.
Oh! All right, settle down. There's a nice, angry, stray dog.
Quiet, boy. What do you want?
I work for Lord Lucien, miss, and he would very much like to see you in his castle. I've been sent to collect you.
It did work. Our wish came true. Come on, little sparrow, wake up. It's all right, doggy. We're going to Lord Lucien's castle. I'll come back for you, I promise.
Running along, we met with an escort of guards who took us up to Castle Fairfax.
Evening, Jeeves. Here are the children Lord Lucien asked for.
Excellent. Hello, young masters.
Hello, sir.
If you'd follow me, please.
We look up at this castle every day and think how nice it is. We both do. But inside, it's even more beautiful than I imagined.
It is quite wonderful, isn't it? Ah, hello, Master Garth. Ha, a man of few words.
Where is the grand dining hall?
Oh, in the north wing. Lord Lucien hasn't been in there since the tragic deaths of Lady Fairfax and little Amelia.
Oh, I heard. That was so awful.
Yes, he misses them terribly.
So, where does he eat?
Actually, he takes most of his meals in his study. He's in there working all hours doing research.
What does he research?
And history, mostly. Lord Lucien is quite keen on antiquities of all sorts, but he's chiefly interested in things relating to the Old Kingdom.
There was a trader in Oldtown who said his stuff was from the Old Kingdom.
Yes. I believe Lord Lucien heard about that.
We bought a piece of it, and we made a wish, and now we're here.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, when you meet Lord Lucien, you must show respect at all times. Address him as my lord, speak only when spoken to.
Yes, sir.
And do not mention Lady Fairfax or Amelia.
Entering Lord Lucien's office, he seemed hard at work. He was face down in his study. However, he still managed to make time for myself and Rose.
Children, it's come to my attention that you have some sort of magic box. May I see it?
It vanished, my lord. We were winding it up and we made a wish and then it started to glow and it disappeared.
After you used it?
Yes, my lord. The man who sold it to us said it was magic.
The box is of no interest to me. What's remarkable is that you were able to use it. What was your wish?
Oh.
Well, speak up. What did you wish for?
To live in a castle, like this one.
Perhaps that could be arranged. I'm working to rebuild... Well, I'm working on something wonderful, for which I need individuals with particular talents. Let us find out if you possess them. Would you kindly stand in the circle, please? I promise it won't hurt you.
Moving to the back of the room, Rose and I stepped on the platform. All of a sudden, it started glowing blue. Shimmers of light surrounded the circle.
It's true. Your blood. You are heroes.
Heroes? You mean like in the old stories?
What are you? Wait.
My lord!
Something here.
What's that light?
Quiet! You're heroes, but you're not any of the three. One of you is the fourth.
What's happening?
This isn't what I wanted. But nothing must stand in my way.
No, wait! Don't! No!
I can't allow you to live either. I'm sorry.
Death is not your destiny. Lucien disappeared from Castle Fairfax that night, certain that those who might stand in his way were dead. But some grief is so great, even death may keep its distance. And so the boy survived. Days later, far from the dark alleys of Bowerstone, life slowly returned to his small, broken body. The boy awoke to a familiar face watching over a strange bed. He reached out for the comfort of the dog's warm fur, ready to take his first steps in a new life. 10 winters blanketed Albion. 10 summers filled the air with the sounds of insects and laughter. With time, the boy's pain turned to strength. His grief became will. A will to change the world and to avenge the death that still haunted his every dream. Ah, there you are. And your faithful friend, too. Many years ago, I promised I would help you avenge your sister's death. That day has come. Today, you leave the safety of this camp and seek out Lucien. The journey will not be easy. There's a chest near your caravan. I've left a few things inside that might prove useful. Meet me by the gates when you're ready to leave.
10 years have passed since that one tragic night. 10 years of thoughts, regret, and anger. Little Sparrow isn't quite so little anymore. My character is now a young man, and he's got quite the journey ahead of him. Right now, I'm in a place called Gypsy Camp. It's where I've grown up, repaired my broken body, and honed my skills as a hero. To be honest, it's quite the cozy spot. There's a community here, people I know and trust. I could have an easy life that's filled with fake joy and artificial pride. However, my destiny is out there, in the world of Albion. Mine and Lucien's dark fates are intertwined. Gaining access to the equipment chest, it holds a rusty longsword, a light splintered crossbow, some health potions, as well as a spade.
Now come with me.
Open the gate!
Have you rescued any princess?
Good luck.
Take this. It is a powerful artifact, the kind of which all heroes once carried. It will grant you access to places others cannot go. It will also allow me to talk to you when necessary. Now, look down towards the lake. The seal will allow you to enter that tomb. In its darkest depths lies the Chamber of Fate. When you come out again, you will be stronger, much stronger. Now go.
Running out into the wild, the world is at my fingertips. Now, there are some important mechanics to discuss. Number 1 is my dog. Not only is he here for emotional support, but he also serves an important purpose. He's a scavenger. He's able to notify me of nearby treasure and dig spots. In Fable Anniversary, the player was left to their own devices for that. However, treasure hunting is a little more simplified in the sequel. The next mechanic is the glowing quest trail. You'll probably notice the lack of maps in Fable 2. They're still there, they're just buried in the menu screen. For Fable 2, the glowing quest trail shows you the fastest way to your objective. In my opinion, it's a fair trade. While the map was extremely useful for surveying the surrounding area, the trail is quick and to the point. Plus, as you'll see, Fable 2's Albion is a lot less linear than Fable Anniversary's. Stepping foot on the island and approaching the tomb, I placed the seal on the doors and gained entry to the dungeon. Upon heading inside, I could sense something was off. My dog was frightened. He could practically feel the pain and destruction that wreaked havoc here. However, fear is just a part of the journey. As per Teresa's request, I dove down into the waters below. This act sealed my fate, as the only way out was forward. By the way, I haven't touched on it much yet, but for those who played/watched the first Fable, you already know who Teresa is and her role in the series. For those who don't know, the Chamber of Fate is where a lot of lore gets revealed. The crawl through the tomb has me facing off against my first real enemy, giant beetles. Because I chose to destroy Balthazar's stock, I never got to experience them. Well, they aren't much of a challenge. One swing with my sword or one shot with my crossbow does the trick. The thing is though, their numbers are plenty, so I've got a little bit of work cut out for me. While Sparrow's childhood served as a great introduction to the game, this crawl acts as the real tutorial for the meat of Fable 2, the combat. When an enemy/NPC dies, they drop experience orbs. The orbs are divided into 4 categories: will, strength, skill, and general experience. Each category of experience is used to purchase its own set of upgrades. General experience orbs help to offset some of the costs from the other 3 categories. Because it's early game and I hadn't turned off tutorials yet, you'll soon see that the UI was adamant in telling me that I had upgrades available and could purchase them at any time. About halfway through the crawl, I encountered some sort of magical switch. I had to shoot at it in order to progress. While it seemed like a rather easy task, it's meant to ensure that only heroes can get through the upcoming gates. After traversing through the tomb's winding tunnels and slashing through more beetles, I wound up at the second switch trial. This time, I had to shoot it 2 times with my crossbow and hit it once with my sword. Again, not the trickiest thing in the world. However, it ended up unlocking a set of ancient-looking doors. On the other side of them is the Chamber of Fate, aka the old Guild of Heroes from Fable Anniversary.
For centuries, this academy trained the most supremely gifted sons and daughters of Albion, bound together by the blood that flowed in their veins. Once worshipped by the people of Albion, the great heroes came to be feared and hated. No man alive today remembers the night the guild burned, and now it lies forgotten. But the heroes are not all gone. You are here, and that same heroic blood flows through you. Look around at these walls. Your forebear, one of the mightiest heroes who ever lived. At a young age, he suffered a devastating loss, from which he never truly recovered. But when the world tried to crush him, he fought back. He grew strong, strong enough to reshape the world as he saw fit. You must do the same. The guild has reacted to you. Step into the light. Learn the true power of heroes. Your blood is awakening. You can now channel the experience you have collected into strength, skill, or will. Strength improves combat with hand-to-hand weapons. Skill allows you to shoot faster and with greater accuracy. Will gives you control over the forces of magic. Before you is a color's gate. It reacts to the will of one who seeks to use it. You have not been able to use will yet, but the simple act of reaching this place has given you will experience. You need to learn a will ability to activate the color's gate.
From here, I'm able to access the ability screen and can start funneling experience into new upgrades. In order to leave the Chamber of Fate, I need to cast a willpower, or a spell, which is now only available to me. Now, as revealed by Teresa, Sparrow's ancestor is the hero of Oakfield, aka the protagonist from the first game. That means that Sparrow is also related to Scarlet Robe as well as Teresa, the seeress from Fable Anniversary, who's now my mentor of sorts. That makes my character a descendant of the heroes from the Old Kingdom. Therefore, I have unimaginable power and potential running through my veins. It's also a teaser as to why Lord Lucien tried to kill me as well as my sister. However, the exact reason gets revealed a little later. Using my new power on the switch, a Collis Gate or teleporter gets activated. Stepping into it, it brings me back out into Albion. Here, I'm faced with the final challenge of the tomb. One last wave of giant beetles. This time though, I get to see my newfound willpower in action. Once the way is clear, Teresa instructs me to make my way to Bowerstone. There, my progress with reaching Lord Lucien can proceed. The surrounding area of Bower Lake is relatively peaceful, at least for now. Or rather, it's best to say that it's peaceful depending on where you step. There are a couple of powerful enemies that wait for a weary traveler to stumble on by. The road to the big city is quiet and rather lonesome. It's just me and my dog running through the moonlight. There's a great deal of peace and serenity in this moment though. The atmosphere is pretty incredible, and it truly feels like I'm on this grand journey. Soon, I ended up running into some sort of barricade. On the other side of it is a guard, and he's not letting anyone through anytime soon.
Apologies, citizen. The road to Bowerstone is closed due to the bandit activity. I'm afraid that as long as the bandit Thag is alive, the road stays closed. If you're in an hurry like, you can always take care of Thag yourself.
Of course, it couldn't be all that easy. Some obstacle was bound to present itself eventually. Following the trail, Thag's bandit camp is pretty close to the barricade. The path leading up to the camp was a little too quiet. I could see Thag's outposts, but there weren't any thugs or ruffians standing in the way. Waltzing on through the gates, Teresa says what we're all thinking.
Keep your wits about you. It may be a trap.
Look out! It's an ambush!
The bandits make themselves known, and it's time for the real fighting to begin. Gone are the weak beetles. Now, it's time for some equal matchups. Well, not really. These bandits are also pretty beginner friendly. A couple of swings with my blade, a shot or two with my crossbow, and even a handful of willpowers will do the trick. In this instance, the bandits come out in waves. It starts out with 2 at a time, then it moves to 3, and then it ends at 4.
No one defies Thag the Impatient. I'll gut you myself. I'll give you 3 seconds to get ready. No, wait, 2! Oh, soddy.
Thag looks intimidating and is noticeably bulkier than the other bandits, but he's still an introductory boss. Even though he's got quite a lot of health, he takes a long time to let off an attack, and said attack is pretty easy to dodge. He takes flinch damage and is vulnerable to all attack types. Before long, I was able to deliver the killing blow on Thag and end his reign of terror. Not only did this deed help to progress the story, but it also gave me some renown. Renown serves as my character's fame, how well his deeds and actions are known across Albion. Later down the line, it plays a big factor in story progression. Before leaving Thag's camp, I took care of one minor detail. There were some slaves locked in a cage, and they informed me that the key was in Thag's hut. Retrieving it, I stepped back outside and came across a thug named Dick, or Richard if you're fancy. Richard informed me that he had already made a payment for the people inside the cage. He doesn't want any trouble though, and promised to make it worth my while. The good outcome is defeating Dick and freeing the captives. The evil outcome is handing Dick the key and turning your back on the situation.
I said shut it! I'm not gonna tell you again. Nice doing business with you. Hear that, you lot? You're mine now!
You bastard!
I always knew you were no good. I'll curse the name Sparrow the rest of my days.
A few coins change hands, and a few honest folk are condemned to years of misery. Is your heart so hard? Perhaps you will destroy Lucien for the wrong reason, but I suppose it will have to do. Meet me in Bowerstone Market by the clock tower. There is something you must see.
Again, while it's just a taste of what's out there, there are so many side quests and deeds that can shape the world around you. Choosing to bring good into this world will only breed more good. However, the same could be said for being evil. Chaos and destruction only bring on more chaos and destruction. Returning to the road, the barricade leading to Bowerstone has been removed. Now, Sparrow can march on for 27 in-game hours and reach the market. Upon arrival, I was immediately harassed by a bard. I know, ironic.
Listen to this. A hero went to Bower Lake and gave the thag a bellyache.
Believe it or not, Roland does serve a purpose. He sort of acts as a tour guide for Bowerstone Market. The bard will comment on all of the stores and structures. He'll fill you in on what they're used for, their origins, and he might even throw in an odd quip here and there. Running up to the town square, Teresa is nowhere to be found.
I have bad news. I'm afraid I will be delayed for a while. In the meantime, you should buy some new equipment and prepare for the challenges ahead. But you'll need money. If you need money, there are jobs to be found. I believe the blacksmith has an opening.
This section is quite clever. It forces Sparrow to have a look around the market. One of my all-time favorite things in Fable is working as a blacksmith. It's probably one of the simplest features in the game, but for some reason I find it so addicting. All you have to do is press A when the circle is in the green bar. This counts as a successful hammer. After 5 hits, the blade is complete and you're paid out a sum of gold. The more successes you get in a row, the higher your gold multiplier gets. After a certain threshold of gold has been hit, Sparrow receives a promotion. This promotion leads to more gold, then better opportunities to earn gold. However, a mistimed hit puts you back at the start of your current promotion's gold multiplier, so you have to build back up to the big bucks. Not the worst penalty, but it's still a setback. Something that Fable 2 takes very seriously is its economy. Almost everything can be bought, sold, and invested in. Money truly makes Albion go round, and you can become a real estate tycoon in this game. You can raise the economy and lower the economy. This ultimately affects your alignment and can act as a great way to make passive income. It's a minor feature, but it just goes to show that there's so much more to Fable 2 than meets the eye. After those 5 minutes are up, Teresa appears at the town square, and it's back to business for Sparrow.
I apologize for the delay. Events are moving quickly indeed. Think about your life. All the places you've been, the people you've known, everything you've done. How many moments, how many memories. Thag and his men, they had just as many. And now they have none, because of you. Do you feel the weight of responsibility yet? Your enthusiasm will have its uses, but mind it does not consume you.
You're new round here.
Come. The world is better off without Thag, and certainly Bower Lake is in your debt. But to really see the impact of your actions, you need look no further than Bowerstone. It has changed much since you lived here, particularly Oldtown, where you spent your childhood. Never forget that even the simplest choice can have far-reaching consequences. Look, that is where Lucien is now, the tattered spire. The spire was intended as a conduit for all the magic in the world, granting the kingdom's ruler a power so great he could bend reality to his will. On the day it was completed, and the first wish made, a light bloomed inside, though its nature could not have been darker. Albion shattered. Centuries of civilization were wiped out in moments. Its people erased from existence. Some say that this was the first wish, an end to a hollow and corrupt world, and for a purer one to take its place. And now the spire rises once again, by Lucien's hand. Lucien found documents which foretold the coming of one who would stop him using the spire. That is why your sister died, and that is why you will face him. The cards have shown me this. Here. Take a look. Each of the 3 heroes you see in the cards is a step on the hidden path to Lucien's downfall. And the life force of heroes, will itself, is the key to the spire's power. Lucien's agents scour the land even as we speak. You must find the 3 heroes before Lucien does, because you are the 4th, the one who will bring his downfall. I have seen a vision of a holy ritual in Oakfield. Salvation, though bittersweet, is delivered by one of incredible strength. Speak to the abbot at the Temple of Light and see what you can learn of this pilgrim. The road to Oakfield will be dangerous. Good luck.
There you have it. The reason Lord Lucien summoned Sparrow and Rose to his castle all those years ago. The reason Rose died and why Sparrow suffered tremendous injuries. My character isn't one of the prophesized 3 heroes. He's not one of the ones who will help or be forced to help in rebuilding the spire, Lucien's lifelong work. Sparrow is actually the 4th hero, the Dark Horse, the one who's actively working against the Lord. It's why the light turned from blue to red when Rose and Sparrow were in Lucien's office. It was a reaction of opposing forces. 2 destinies that are intertwined, yet working against one another. Part of Sparrow's adventure to Oakfield involves going through Oldtown, mine and Rose's old stomping ground. Upon arrival, I was met by none other than Arthur. He explains that ever since that day, 10 years ago, him and his associates have taken control of the district. Because I gave the arrest warrants to Arthur and not Derek, Lucien fired the guard and left Oldtown without any law or justice. The district wasn't anything special before, but now it's somehow even more run down and unfriendly. It wasn't a place I liked calling home, but now it's definitely not the home that I remember. However, it is the home that I helped to shape. Fortunately, I'm just passing through, as the path to Oakfield runs right out of Oldtown. It doesn't take long for me to reach the cliff tops of Rookridge. Rookridge is crawling with bandits. They've been able to take control of most of the roads, hijacking carts and killing travelers. A couple of the ruffians were set up on a high point, overlooking the path. They had the road locked down and shot anyone who wandered on sight. Teresa suggested that I take them on in a firefight, as it'd be a lot safer. For now, it is, but the battle took a while to complete. Plus, let's just say that these guys respawn frequently, so for the future, it's probably just better to bull rush onto the scene. Continuing along the road, I came across some pocket forces of bandits, usually no more than 5, and they died relatively quickly. The battles weren't anything crazy, and the bandits' attacks weren't that powerful. Just some ways for me to rack up the XP and to get a little more combat experience under my belt. However, a little further down the line, I hit an unforeseen roadblock.
Oh look! Another traveler! Wanna get to Oakfield? You'll have to swim, lovey.
Yeah, jump! 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 Jump!
Following their advice, I dove down to the waters below. It worked, but now I had to find a new way to Oakfield. Little did I know, this detour would prove to be extremely dangerous. Swimming to the nearest shore, I ran into a man named Herman. Herman told me that he lost his son, Joey, in the nearby cave. The dungeon's called Hobbe Cave, and if you don't know the lore behind Hobbes, you're about to find out.
Oh, it's lucky you happened by. I didn't dare come in by myself. You see, well, I probably should have mentioned this, but there might be 1 or 2 Hobbes in here. I'd always heard the stories, that Hobbes carry off children and turn them into more Hobbes. But those are just stories, right? I can't imagine.
Running through the dungeon, it doesn't take long for us to come across their feeding pit. Piles of bones, corpses, old and new, as well as bloodstains all over the ground. Hobbes feed off of human flesh. Hobbes are essentially Albion's goblins. They're small creatures, but what they lack in size, they make up for in strength and numbers. They're certainly more powerful than bandits and can pack a heavier punch.
That's Joey! I can hear him! I'm coming, son!
As Herman runs on ahead, I'm forced to deal with a group of Hobbes all by my lonesome. Not that he really helped with the fighting anyway. For my combat style, I personally like to single out an enemy, defeat them, and then move on to the next one. I find it easier to eliminate them one by one, rather than trying to take out multiple at a time. Once the room was cleared, I continued down the path and caught up with Herman. Joey was apparently on the other side of the door, and as Herman tried to pry it open, he sent me off to find another way around.
I was too late. They turned my son into... And I always told him those stories were made up. They were true.
As the Hobbe version of Joey dies, Herman also bites the dust, leaving me alone in this Hobbe-infested cave. The upside is there's only one more area for me to clear. The downside is that said area is filled with Hobbes. There are groups of creatures stationed at each connecting point. The walkways are tight, which makes the fighting a little more difficult. Plus, there's a new type of Hobbe, the bombers. They have a loaded powder keg strapped to them, and they'll run right over to Sparrow. The explosion deals massive amounts of damage. However, it usually ends up doing more good than harm. The other Hobbes also take that damage, and typically it ends up killing them. Another good strategy for this area was using the edges to my advantage. By attacking a Hobbe near a ledge, my character would end up kicking them off, which instantly killed them. This saved a lot of time in the long run. Exiting back out into Rookridge, my journey could finally resume. Dispatching the bandit force on the bridge, I continued along the road until finally I hit Oakfield. Oakfield was like a breath of fresh air. After seeing what Rookridge had to offer, this small town was a delight to be in. Fresh meadows, long crop fields, peaceful roads, and friendly townsfolk.
Oakfield is among the lushest regions of Albion. It owes its fertility to the extraordinary golden oak, which lives for only a few decades before producing a single golden acorn. The monks of the Temple of Light replant this acorn, and as the tree is reborn, so are all the lands and farms of Teresa. The abbot is quite nervous about the ritual. See what you can find out.
Running along one of the pathways, I soon laid eyes on the Temple of Light. As an evil character, this should be my garlic and sunlight, but there's just something so comforting about it. It's sort of like a lackluster Rivendell from Lord of the Rings, but with the same calming effect.
Father, the sacred texts clearly say that only 2 monks may enter the cave, no one else.
I'll not send my only child into unknown dangers without any protection. I will find an escort, and that's the end of it. Ah, hello there, my child. I wonder... Brothers, leave us. Let me take a look at you for a moment. Armed? Quite imposing.
Heathen.
But I can't send just anyone in there. I suppose danger is not everyone's cup of tea. You look imposing, all right, but I can't entrust our community's survival to a complete stranger. Perhaps if you built up a reputation, I'd be more inclined to trust you. Yes, Rookridge has been having a horrible time with bandits lately. Why don't you go to the tavern and see if you can do anything about them? That would be a good start.
The blessing must go forward if you're to find the pilgrim. You must gain the abbot's favor. Perhaps you can find a way to impress him in the town. Use your map to see where quests and jobs are.
After killing Thag, I mentioned that renown would eventually come into play. Well, here it is. The abbot needs me to rack up 500 points of renown. This can be done by completing quests, making investments, starting families, etc. Similar to my time in Bowerstone Market, it's the game's way of nudging me towards its other features and stories. The game wants the player to explore around and experience all that Albion has to offer. It's definitely something I can respect. By the way, while Teresa talked about it back in Bowerstone, I personally haven't really touched on it yet. My current goal is to find the 3 heroes before Lucien does. The first of the 3 is the Pilgrim, and Teresa believes that they're somewhere here in Oakfield. Due to what she's seen in her visions, she believes that the abbot is involved. The other 2 cards are the Thief and the Mage. Without spoiling too much, the Thief is my favorite of the 3 heroes. What's more, in my opinion, they are one of the most interesting characters in all of Fable. However, for now, it's best that I keep the focus on the Pilgrim, and in order to do that, I need to rack up renown. For this portion of the story, I ended up doing quite a lot of tasks. Some gave me renown, while others didn't. The first quest I did was menial, but it didn't take very long. I modeled for a sculptor. All I had to do was hold a pose, and then released it when she said so. Not much renown from that one, but it was still something. The next quest I did was for my old friend, Barnum, the photographer from Oldtown. In short, he recently made some investments on the bridge in Rookridge. However, as we all know, that bridge has been blown to bits, and with the frequent bandit activity, reconstruction is practically impossible. My job is to roll into the old inn, defeat the bandits, and chase any of the remaining forces out of the area.
Get him!
The fight in the inn isn't that bad. The only thing is that the rooms are tight and the gunmen have the upper ground. While I'm busy slashing away at the foot soldiers, there are shooters taking potshots at me.
You think you're gonna catch me? Why do you think they call me Dash? Stupid! I could outrun the guards before I was out of nappies. What chance have you got? The last idiot who tried to chase me went blue in the face and killed over, and I was already miles away.
That's the leader, Dash. Once he's defeated, this whole operation gets sorted out. However, reaching him is the issue. It's not even really an issue per se, it's just a long crawl through the bandit forces. Several groups are stationed across the cart tracks. Their numbers can range anywhere from 4 to 6 ruffians, and the trek to Dash is a long one. However, after a lot of hacking, slashing, and XP collecting, Dash himself is quite the easy foe. A singular ranged shot does the trick, and with it comes 250 renown, Dash's goggles, and Barnum's thesaurus. The next thing I tried was working for the Assassination Society. It's a job that's right up my character's alley. Their spokesperson, Mr. Blank, is located in Oldtown. Speaking with him, he gives me a contract. I'm to assassinate a beggar named Dave. Dave lives in the Bowerstone Market, and the reason for his assassination is because he apparently has the world's most annoying laugh. Dave was asleep underneath the Bowerstone bridge, and killing him was pretty easy. While I got paid out a decent sum of gold, it didn't give me any renown, and I was back to looking for more work. The next quest I embarked on was a little more fruitful. It was called Till Death Do Us Part. Hoofing it back to Rookridge, I fought my way through the bandits, and eventually landed at a small nook. By the statue overlooking the water, I came across a sad ghost named Victor.
Are you looking at me? Can you see me? Yes. Excellent. It won't be easy though. You'll have to make her fall in love with you utterly and completely. Then, when she's ready to accept your proposal, when she can't imagine her life without you, give her this. I've spent a long time thinking of the exact right wording. And even longer getting it onto paper. I am incorporeal after all, which makes it all the more impressive that I managed to get this too. In case you need the help, or no, I did.
While Victor didn't explain much about the situation, I'm sure you can start to piece things together. In any case, once Alex, the victim for this quest, is seduced, she has a little tell-all moment. Alex can be found in the Bowerstone market at the Cow and Corset Inn. Seducing her is rather simple. In fact, it's rather easy to gain the trust of just about anyone in the game. Using the directional pad, I'm able to flash a bunch of emotes at her. Some of those emotes are considered to be aligned as funny, while others are aligned as scary. They affect the NPC's feelings towards you, which is reflected in the bar at the top of the screen. The longer you hold an emote, the more impactful it can be. For this mission, I have to get her to like me, so the whole scary and evil approach isn't really an option. Once she's at the level where she feels like she can marry me, Alex fills me in on what happened between her and Victor.
I'm just the luckiest woman in the world. I never thought I'd find happiness again. I never thought I'd deserve it. There's something I've never told you. I almost got married once before. He was a sweet boy, but we were both so young. Too young. I got scared and ran away the day of the wedding. I hurt him so badly. He took his own life. I've carried that guilt with me all these years, never dreaming I could love again. Until I met you.
From here, I can pick between giving her the note or destroying it and actually falling in love. For the sake of this quest and for an eviler approach, I picked the former.
Understand? It was all a trick? No, it can't be true. It can't be true! No!
Alex bolts out of the inn and flees Bowerstone altogether. Where she went off to, well, that's explained when I go back to Rookridge. There's now a second ghost standing with Victor, and wouldn't you know it, it's Alex. It appears as though she took her own life, similar to her former lover. She and Victor are talking. She tells him how sorry she is and that she never meant to hurt him like that. It almost seems like the two are making amends for their actions when all of a sudden, Alex turns around and sees Sparrow.
You! What are you doing here? You broke my heart. You toyed with my life and threw it away, and now you're here? This was all your idea, wasn't it? You just wanted revenge. I don't believe this.
I was upset. It's not easy being dead, you know. I mean, you'll see for yourself.
I never want to see you again. Either of you.
Wait! Alex! Wait!
While it might have not been the ending that Victor wanted, it did score me 100 more renown points. At this point in time, I just needed 38 more. However, quests were running thin. The next thing I tried was joining the Temple of Shadows. They're essentially the antithesis to the Temple of Light. They believe in doing evil for the sake of being evil. Yet, they're quite comical and don't take themselves too seriously.
Excuse me, sir. Can I interest you in joining the Temple of Shadows? Ah, excellent. You have to swallow every last bit, you know. The feathers, the bones, the beak. Oh, excuse me, please.
Oh, I can't believe you did that.
was still alive! 3? Ugh! You ate 3! Oh, the last one who got this far dropped dead! We could still hear the chirping inside his stomach. Oh! There goes another one. Extra crunchy. Oh! You don't have any scruples, do you? That is the vilest thing I've ever seen. And this, coming from someone who never misses Torture Tuesdays. Anyway, yes, welcome to the temple. You've earned your place among the shadows.
Welcome, young disciple, to the Temple of Shadows. I am Cornelius Grimm. You have entered a venerable society of dark worship, with a long history of wicked deeds and opprobrious transgressions. Fridays is poker night. Now, proceed down the hallway to our unholy wheel of misfortune, the most gruesome and terrifying device ever conceived. The instructions are right next to it.
The first quest that I tried with them was called Sacrificing to the Shadows. Alistair, the member who runs the torture wheel in the Circle of Sacrifice, gave me the lowdown. Essentially, I have to bring people to the temple, place them in the circle, and spin the wheel to execute them in some horrific manner. After enough sacrifices are made, I can cash in my loyalty points for rewards. Sounding easy enough, I thought it'd be poetic to bring a member of the Temple of Light here. Gaining their trust in Oakfield, escorting them to Rookridge, and placing them in the circle, the wheel was certainly interesting. As an evil character, it was entertaining to watch. However, renown points were nowhere in sight. This is a questline I'd love to make a video out of one day, so I figured I'd leave it out of this story for now. Running out of ideas, I remembered my good old friend Roland the Bard. He had actually set up shop at the Sand Goose Inn in Oakfield. Traveling over there, I tossed him a couple of coins, and he began to sing about my adventures.
I will now sing you my latest composition.
I am not petting you.
A ghost full of anger was after revenge. The hero found
You've done
love,
it.
but it was
Almost
all
everyone
a
in Oakfield has heard of you.
Strange how that tower seems to...
Now you can go back to the abbot.
The night.
Roland's song was nice and all, but there was one last thing I had to take care of.
You have to admit, anyone stupid enough to follow one of us down here deserves to die in the most gruesome manner.
Now it's time for me to return to the abbot, and hopefully I'll be able to locate the pilgrim. According to the fate cards, the first hero supposedly dons white robes and possesses unbelievable strength. Yet, they have a bit of a temper. Let's see if they're actually affiliated with the Temple of Light. There's a grand journey ahead of me, and this is just the beginning.